Everlong, Foo Fighters.
Yes.
Nice song.
Story about this song.
Jim, please do tell
Apparently
us.
there's a funny story.
Basically, I have an ex-fiance, who was mental, who I got engaged to by accident, and
Did you fall into her, or was it?
no, right. What happened was this. I thought quite a romantic thing to do would be she went travelling across America. She says she went travelling. She was middle class and had a backpack. She went on holiday for 3 months, and she went travelling across America. And I thought a nice thing to do would be to go over and meet her halfway round. And I didn't tell her about this till the day before. So I went over and met up with her. I flew for 16 hours, then drove for 5 hours to get to her. And then when I got to her, I immediately remembered that we argued all the time. And she was a very intense, frightening woman who used to threaten to kill herself every time we had an argument. So I got there, we had an argument. And then the reason Everlong is relevant is because she deemed that our song. Right, so whenever we had an argument, she would text me a lyric from it. As if to think I would sit there going, oh, I'm so moved by that. I'd just sit there and go, delete.
So with the lyrics in the song, what she just text you, Everlong.
Yeah.
And they go,
She'd always text me, if anything could ever be this real forever, that's the lyric she always used to text me. Which means that now I get a very cold chill at my back whenever I hear it. And, yeah, so I went all the way over there, got there, we had an argument. Before I went to bed that night, we had an argument. We got there the next day, went to see the Grand Canyon. Have you been to the Grand Canyon? It's beautiful. You know, while I'm there thinking this is one of nature's greatest wonders. While we were there, we had an argument. We had one argument about the fact that I wouldn't even throw a stone into the Grand Canyon. I went, I can't, because it says don't throw stones into it. She said, yeah, but I want to take a photo of it. I'm like, I'm not doing it. She went, well, at least
take a photo of it. What, it's a tiny little stone.
Well, she's like, at least mime doing it. I'm like, if I mime doing it, someone might see us, come over and arrest me for wanting to do it. I'm not doing it. We had a big argument about that. Then we just had 6 hours in the car where we had a lot of arguments. And then we got to Vegas, where we were staying, and we had a fair few more arguments. And what happened was, this is God's honest truth, right? We were lying in bed one day, and we'd not had an argument for about 4 hours. So I made the mistake of saying to her, funny story, before I came over, my mum said, don't you go coming back and married or anything like that, right?
Oh, God.
And I panicked, because she was very intense. If I'd have said, don't be stupid, I would have then spent the next 4 days of my holiday, which I'd spent a lot of money for, trying to talk her down off the roof of the Hotel Tropicana. Where, incidentally, Tropicana drinks are not free. And then...
That's poor marketing.
It is. I was gutted. And they like to point out that's the Hotel Tropicana. It's only Club Tropicana where drinks are free, in the words of George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley. And, yeah, so... If I'd have said, yeah, all right, let's get married, even as a joke, she would have then whisked me off and we would have been married within half an hour. And I've been married once before. It cost me 75 grand last time. I'm not doing it again. Right? So I panicked and thought, what you need to do, use your humour. You're a stand-up comedian, come out of this with humour. So what I thought I would do is I would give her a humorous response. I know it was humorous because I employed jazz hands, right? You only
Makes
use
everything funny.
Yeah, I was lying down. There was a mirrored ceiling. Not only did I employ jazz hands, I employed jazz feet, right? I was definitely trying to be funny. And I went, maybe we don't get married. Maybe we just get engaged, right? Thinking she'd kill herself laughing. We might have sex. That wasn't what happened. She just started crying and said, you've made me the happiest girl in the world, and we were engaged. That was it. No way out. And because I'm a man...
So she didn't say, have you got the ring?
No, because I'm a man, I went, we celebrate by going to watch a topless review show. That's how weird my relationships are. And then, because I'm a man, I couldn't go, I've made a glaring error here, I didn't mean it. I just went... and they just went along with it. Let her move in with me. 5 months later, I realised that she was completely crackers and got rid of her. And she gave me... The best thing was, we eventually got an engagement ring, she threw it back at me, which was good, because I put it on eBay and got some money back. Thus ends the story.
Thus ends the story. Excellent. No, yeah, I've never known someone to link Everlong to so many different...
Basically, it's a song I love, and I'm not a huge fan of the Foo Fighters because they've become the dullest, middle-of-the-road rock band in the world.
Are we forgetting Oasis here?
Are they even going? They're the dullest, most extreme band in the world.
Oasis, but Oasis aren't really a rock band anymore. I mean, you bear in mind that the Foo Fighters... The thing that annoys me about the Foo Fighters is my favourite band in the world are Queens of the Stone Age. So whenever whenever people go, "Oh, Queens of the Stone Age, isn't that who Dave Grohl's the drummer for?" No, 2 songs on 1 tour. Just leave it.
Oh dear.
Brilliant. Right, we're going to talk a bit back now. Jim's a bit of an old tweeter, a bit of a Facebook.
Yes.
He loves it, to be honest.
Facebook whore.
Facebook. If you want to use that word, I was going to say high price call girl, but you went to the bottom of the pole.
Yeah.
He does a lot of notes, a lot of writing, a lot of stories to tell and things like that. And one of them, this is brilliant, is this goes on a massive run about roast lamb.
Yeah.
No apparent reason. Well, it must be an apparent reason.
Let me explain the reason behind this, right? I'm bipolar, which means a lot of the time I'm moody. And one day I was sat at home with my girlfriend, or then girlfriend, Kate, at my house, and I was in a bad mood, and she said, "Well, it's a good thing, right? Why don't you just write out a list of, I don't know, 5 or 10 things that you really hate and just get it out off your chest?" And I went, "All right." So I did, but in the 10 minutes it took me to write down things I hated, I wrote 50. And then when I'd written the 50 things down, I thought, do you know what I'm going to do? Because I used to write a blog, and I realised that the problem with blogs is a lot of the time no one cares, because no one cares whether it's the same thing on Twitter. I never tweet, "I've just had some toast." No one cares.
I just laminated my toast.
Yeah, laminate my toast. But people don't care about stuff like that. So I thought I would write a little angry rant about everything on there, and I thought I'd get bored of it, and I've not got bored of it. I'm up to the 25th one is the next one I've got to do, which is about the Daily Mail, which is going to be long. And there's a list of things. There's things on there that are really, and it's in no particular order, which is why things that are very deep, meaningful subjects, I mean, a lot to me, like racism's on there. Obviously, I find racism abhorrent, but equally, I find Hulk Hogan abhorrent. And like you say, roast lamb. And the roast lamb thing is just, it's a little bit about the fact, I don't like roast lamb. And on the roast lamb thing, there is a list of things that I would find more palatable roasts than roast lamb. I think roast
squirrel
centipede
is also on there, I think, yeah.
I think that's meant to be quite nice over a squirrel, I've heard.
Do you know what is nice? Ostrich is nice.
Yes. Spot on, it is actually really good.
One of these ones that no one really eats just tastes a little bit like chicken. Or something.
No, ostrich is more gamey than chicken.
It's proper meat ostrich.
It is a manly meat.
Steak of ostrich.
I haven't got many teeth left because I've had a lot of teeth out, so I don't think I'll be able to eat it now. Kangaroo's quite fun as well.
Is that fun?
Yeah, it is.
You've got to catch it first.
The thing is, I like curry, so I've had these things in curries, which are
ostrich
brilliant.
Curry,
ostrich curry. There used to be a restaurant in Leicester that's closed now called the Red Veil that was the poshest curry house in the world, and it was fusion cuisine, so it's like French themed curries, but because it was still curry, you still got a decent amount of food. It wasn't like someone brought out a thimble full of which is just rubbish. So it was awesome, and but an ostrich and kangaroo related story. There's a farm in I believe in Buckinghamshire that's on the train route between Leicester and London. And I was coming back from London. I had a gig and I'd stayed overnight. And I was coming back from London on a Sunday morning, and I don't sleep very well, so I was sleeping on the train. And the train stopped in the middle of nowhere, and I woke up and looked out of the window, and it's next to an ostrich and kangaroo farm. Not close enough for it to be really weird, but just far enough away from it for me to think,
how long have I been asleep?
Yeah, and I had to actually just nudge someone and go, "Excuse me, that is an ostrich, right?" And they sort of looked over and went, "Yeah, it is." Like, "Oh, good, thanks for clearing that up," because I genuinely thought I was hallucinating, which happens quite a bit to me.